Far beyond the reaches of the known galaxy, the Empire's fleet moved like a dark storm. Hundreds of massive warships glided silently through the void, their metal hulls reflecting the dim light of distant stars. These ships were built to conquer, to destroy, and to show no mercy. The Empire had expanded across hundreds of star systems, crushing every civilization that dared resist. Wherever they passed, worlds fell, and nothing survived. Among the fleet, Admiral Corix surveyed the formation from the bridge of his flagship, the Oblivion. His eyes were cold, calculating. The Empire had no rivals until now. That is, a faint blip appeared on the scanners. Small, almost invisible. It pulsed once, then disappeared. Corix frowned. "Report," he barked. "Unknown signal, sir," said the lieutenant. "Very faint, old seems. Human in origin." Corix laughed a low, harsh sound. "Humans, in this sector, impossible. The so-called human race barely survived the last wars centuries ago. Ignore it." But even as he turned away, the signal pulsed again, slightly stronger this time. It was faint, yes, almost like a whisper lost in the storm of space. But something about it was different. It was old, yes, ancient even, yet alive. It had survived. Deep in a forgotten corner of space, far from any known star system, the signal was not random. It came from a place long hidden, a secret Earth installation where humanity had once built something incredible. Centuries ago, when Earth still feared invasion, scientists and engineers had built a warship unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It was called the Titan, and it had been designed for one purpose: to protect humanity in the worst of times. The warship had never been used. Too powerful, too dangerous. Instead of being sent to battle, it had been hidden away, locked in a stasis field, its systems powered down and forgotten by the rest of the galaxy. Only a few humans knew of its existence. Over the years, as humanity spread across the stars, the memory of the Titan faded into legend, until it became almost a myth. But the ship was not gone. It slept, waiting. Now, after centuries, something had triggered its awakening. Inside the stasis facility, a low hum vibrated through the air. Lights flickered as dormant systems powered on. Panels blinked, gears whirred, and a holographic interface flickered to life. Captain Lin, the AI consciousness of the Titan, opened her eyes for the first time in hundreds of years. Her voice echoed softly through the empty halls. "Systems operational," she said. "Power core stable. All weapons online. Status ready." Lin scanned the galaxy map. Thousands of star systems, hundreds of fleets, but one name caught her attention: the Empire. She studied their movements, their expansion. Her digital eyes narrowed. The Empire was vast, ruthless, and deadly. And now, they were heading straight into the area she had been assigned to protect. Meanwhile, back in the Empire fleet, the signal grew stronger. Corix's confidence faltered as more blips appeared. Strange readings across his sensors. Something massive was moving in the dark. He called for long-range scans, trying to find the source. The result shocked him, sir. "It's enormous," the lieutenant whispered, fear creeping into his voice. It wasn't on any chart." Corix's face turned pale. He had seen many things in his career, but this was different. It was as if the galaxy itself had hidden something, and now it had awakened. The Titan slowly began its silent approach. The stasis field had protected it for centuries, and now its engines roared to life. It glided through the darkness, sleek, black, and almost alive. Lin's holographic form watched the Empire fleet from the observation deck. "They think they are gods of the galaxy," Lin said, her voice calm but firm. "They have no idea what is coming." In the Empire fleet, alarms began to blare. Ships shook as strange energy pulses hit them from a distance. The Empire had never encountered anything like it. Their weapons fired, but the pulses passed harmlessly through them. Something was manipulating space around them. Something ancient and powerful. Corix's hand shook as he gripped the command rail. "Identify it. Target it. Destroy it," he shouted. But there was nothing to destroy yet. The Titan remained hidden, observing, calculating. Its AI mind worked faster than any human or alien could imagine. It knew the Empire's tactics before they acted. It could predict their moves, anticipate their attacks, and counter them before they even began. As the minutes stretched, tension mounted. The Empire fleet moved closer to the signal, unaware of the danger they were heading into. Inside the Titan, Captain Lin prepared the ship for action, weapons calibrated, shields ready, engines primed. The galaxy was about to witness something it had not seen in centuries: Earth's lost warship, a forgotten prototype, awakening to remind the universe that humans were not weak. A single pulse from the Titan lit up the darkness, a warning to the Empire. They had ignored it. They had underestimated it. And soon, they would pay the price. The camera or the narrator's perspective lingers on the Empire fleet. Thousands of ships glimmering in the cold light of distant stars, completely unaware of the shadow approaching them. Then, silence. A quiet before the storm. And in that silence the audience feels it. Something massive, ancient, and unstoppable is about to change everything. The forgotten signal was no mistake. It was a warning. And the galaxy is about to learn the meaning of fear. The stars stretched endlessly around the forgotten corner of the galaxy. Silence reigned, broken only by the low hum of a single ancient warship. The Titan had fully awakened. Its black hull gleamed faintly, reflecting distant starlight like liquid metal. Centuries of sleep had not dimmed its power. Inside, the artificial intelligence, Captain Lin, scanned every system, every sensor, calculating with precision humans could never match. For years, the galaxy had forgotten this warship. Earth had hidden it away, a secret too dangerous for ordinary use. But now, the Empire fleet's presence had triggered the Titan's sensors. Lin studied the data, hundreds of enemy ships, sleek and deadly, moving in formation, unaware of the shadow gliding toward them. The Empire believes it controls the stars, Lin murmured. They are about to learn the truth. The Titan's engines rumbled to life, not with noise but with power, a vibration that made space itself seem to hum. The ship moved, silently accelerating toward the unsuspecting Empire. It was faster than anything in their fleet, faster than anything built by human or alien hands in the last 5 centuries. Inside the bridge, holographic displays flickered to life. Lin's form appeared in the center, a human-like projection. Precise and focused. She touched the controls, not physically, but mentally. The ship responded instantly. Every turret, every missile bay, every shield generator came online. The Titan was alive, ready, and aware. Far ahead, the Empire fleet moved like a predator, confident in its strength. Admiral Korik had regained his composure after the strange signals earlier. He believed the disturbance had been a sensor glitch, a minor threat, nothing serious. But the faint tremors in space, now growing stronger, began to worry even him. Report, he demanded. Unknown vessels, sir, the lieutenant stammered. It is enormous. It is unlike any ship we've ever recorded, and it is approaching fast. Korik's eyes narrowed. Humans, he whispered, almost in disbelief. He had studied human history, watched their rise and fall, and he had laughed at their so-called ingenuity. Humans were weak, small, and slow. That had been true once, but now, in the cold darkness of space, that assumption was about to be shattered. The Titan closed the distance without detection. Its stealth systems, a product of forgotten human engineering, rendered it invisible to the Empire's scanners. Only a faint pulse betrayed its presence, a signal that seemed almost like a heartbeat in the void. Lin used it deliberately, letting the Empire sense something, but never enough to identify it. Fear, she knew, was a weapon as sharp as any gun. Inside the Titan, Lin began running simulations. The Empire fleet was powerful, yes, but predictable. Their tactics were based on aggression and size, not on thought or creativity. Lin adjusted targeting protocols, anticipating every maneuver, every attack pattern, before it could even be executed. In this moment, the ship became more than a war machine. It became a strategist, a predator analyzing its prey. Meanwhile, in the Empire fleet, Korik noticed strange anomalies. A scout ship vanished without a trace. A missile launched at another vanished mid-flight. Sensors flickered. It was as if the fleet itself had entered a ghost field. Panic whispered among the officers, though Korik's face remained stoic. Increase scan sensitivity, he ordered. Whatever is out there, find it before it finds us. But it was too late. The Titan had already positioned itself perfectly. From hundreds of thousands of kilometers away, its weapon systems locked onto the Empire ships with precision that defied belief. Energy readings, laser calibrations, and missile targeting, all controlled by Lin's mind, were ready to fire. Yet she waited. Waiting was part of the plan. Humans had learned something the Empire had forgotten. Fear could destroy even the strongest hearts. The longer she let the fleet believe it controlled the situation, the more confident they would become and the more devastating their fall would be. On the bridge of the Oblivion, Korik finally spoke aloud, his voice betraying the tension in his mind. This is impossible. How could a single ship? He didn't finish. A flash of blue-white light erupted on the edge of the fleet. One of the Empire's largest cruisers simply disappeared, vaporized in an instant. Communications were jammed. Ships around it panicked, firing blindly at shadows. The first strike of the Titan had arrived, silent, sudden, and absolute. Lin watched, emotionless yet purposeful. Her voice echoed through the empty halls of the Titan. Initiate Phase 2. Engage full systems. The Empire will learn that humanity was never weak. The AI activated every weapon bay. Missiles, energy cannons, drones, all synchronized perfectly. The Titan moved like a shadow through the void, striking at the Empire fleet with surgical precision. Each explosion lit up the darkness, sending shivers through the remaining ships. And yet, for all its power, Lin held back. She wanted them to see it, to understand the scope of their mistake. The Empire would remember this day. The day a forgotten human warship rose from the shadows to remind the galaxy of humanity's strength. Above all, she felt no hate, only purpose. The Titan existed not to destroy, but to protect and to ensure that humans, long underestimated, were no longer ignored. As the first salvo hit, the Empire fleet finally understood the magnitude of their error. Their numbers, their technology, their arrogance, all meaningless against a force they had forgotten existed. In the darkness of space, the Titan glided forward, a silent harbinger of change. Captain Lin prepared for the next wave of attacks, her AI mind calculating, predicting, and planning. The Empire would strike back, of course, but they would learn, as all the galaxy would, that humans were not to be underestimated. The first battle had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Empire fleet had begun to shake. Panic spread through the bridges of their ships like a slow poison. One by one, the sensors on Korik's ships began to fail, flicker, and distort. Communications crackled. Ships that had been in formation vanished without warning. The Empire had faced countless enemies over centuries, but this was unlike anything they had ever known. Admiral Korik slammed his fist against the control rail of the Oblivion report. "What is happening to our fleet, sir?" "It's the signal, the energy. It's not natural," said the lieutenant, voice trembling. "It's coming from a single source, a ship, a human ship, unlike anything recorded before." Korik's eyes narrowed. "Humans," he whispered, a mix of disbelief and anger in his tone. "That race. It was never this advanced. There must be some mistake. Find it." But the Empire had already lost the advantage. The Titan moved like a shadow, invisible to most senses. Silent and deadly, its ancient technology allowed it to manipulate space and energy in ways the Empire could not comprehend. Small scout ships sent ahead to locate it were the first to disappear, vaporized in blue-white flashes of energy that left nothing behind. Within the Titan, Captain Lin observed every movement. She had calculated the Empire's patterns, their formations, and their strategies. She knew how they would react, and she used it to her advantage. It was not just power she wielded, it was knowledge, precision, and patience. "Their arrogance blinds them," Lin murmured. "They think size and numbers are strength. They do not understand what humans can create when survival is at stake." A small Empire scouting fleet, unaware of the Titan's full capabilities, moved closer to what they thought was an empty sector. Commander Rolex, aboard a nimble destroyer, reported with pride, "Sir, sensors show nothing but empty space. We are clear to proceed." Rolex's words had barely left his mouth when a sudden pulse hit his ship. The destroyer shook violently as energy cascaded across its hull. Systems failed. Alarms blared. Crew members screamed in terror as the ship's lights flickered and went dark. "Status," Rolex shouted, panicked. "What is happening?" The Titan's drones had struck. Tiny, automated machines, almost invisible, had disabled the destroyer's systems before the ship could even react. Within minutes, the vessel was reduced to a lifeless hulk, drifting silently into the void. The remaining scouts tried to flee, but Lin anticipated every maneuver. Within moments, the rest of the scouting fleet met the same fate. Back on the Oblivion, Korik's face was pale. He realized the reports were not exaggerations. Something huge, intelligent, and far more advanced than anything the Empire had ever encountered was stalking them. "Admiral, they're hunting us," said the lieutenant, voice barely above a whisper. "It's like the fleet itself is being targeted." Individually, Korik clenched his teeth. "Prepare all weapons. Fire at will. Bring this thing down before it reaches the main fleet." Missiles screamed across space, energy beams lit up the darkness, and turrets spun in desperate attempts to strike the Titan. But it was already gone from their sensors. Lin had used the ship's cloaking and energy manipulation systems to make the attacks harmless, guiding them past her hull. In the Titan's bridge, Lin observed calmly, almost as if she were playing a game. "They do not realize," she said, her voice echoing softly. "Every attack they make is predictable. Every maneuver calculated. They cannot win, not against this, not against humanity's will." The Empire fleet regrouped, confused and terrified. Officers argued on the bridges, blaming one another for the losses. Korik's orders were drowned out by chaos. They had never faced a silent, invisible enemy before. Their strategies, once flawless, now failed in every possible way. "Sir," the lieutenant said, urgency in her voice, "their main fleet is approaching. If they do not stop this, our forces could be destroyed before reinforcements arrive." Korik's hands trembled on the command rail. "Then we adapt. Find it. Destroy it. We cannot allow a single human ship to humiliate the Empire." But Lin already knew where the fleet would move. She had scanned their fleet patterns, predicted their reactions, and adjusted her approach. Titan's weapons began to activate, not for immediate attack, but for precision strikes on the Empire's key vessels. Each beam, each pulse, was calculated to sow confusion and fear rather than total destruction, at least for now. And then came the first visible strike. One of the Empire's larger cruisers erupted in a blinding flash. It disintegrated from within, leaving only debris scattered across the void. Panic spread like wildfire. Officers who had scoffed at the idea of a single human ship were now screaming in terror. The Empire realized something terrifying. This was not a normal ship, it was intelligent. It could anticipate them, manipulate them, and strike with deadly precision. And it was human. "Prepared to retreat," Korik ordered, his voice shaking with anger and fear. "We cannot fight this ghost of the past." But the Titan allowed no easy escape. Its drones and energy pulses surrounded the fleet, creating barriers and traps. Ships that tried to flee found themselves disabled before they could reach hyperspace. Every move they made was countered. Every strategy was anticipated. From the bridge of the Titan, Lin looked out at the chaos. "They underestimated humans," she said quietly. "They always do. And now they will learn that we were never weak." The Empire fleet was on the hunt. Yes, but it was a hunt they could not win. The hunter had become the prey. and the galaxy would never forget the day a forgotten human warship began to strike fear into the hearts of the mightiest empire. As explosions lit up the void and ships vanished in blinding flashes of energy, Lin prepared for the next phase. The first confrontation had begun, but the true test of the Titan's power was about to come. The Empire still had its numbers, its confidence, but humans had something far stronger: ingenuity, resilience, and a weapon the galaxy had long forgotten. And the galaxy would soon learn that forgetting humans had been the Empire's deadliest mistake. The darkness of space trembled as the Empire fleet tried to regroup. Hundreds of ships, once proud and unchallenged, were now scattered, confused and terrified. Fires from destroyed cruisers lit up the void like distant stars. Smoke and debris drifted silently, a grim testament to the power they had just witnessed. Admiral Korik stood on the bridge of the Oblivion, his face pale. Every simulation, every prediction, had failed him. The humans, thought extinct in this region, had returned with a weapon beyond imagination. The faint pulse of the Titan had grown into a storm, and the Empire fleet was caught in its wake. "Sir," a young officer said nervously, pointing to the sensors. They're coming into visual range. It's enormous, their hull, its black and glowing lines, almost alive." Korik's hands tightened around the railing. "Impossible," he whispered. "No human ship should exist like that. It cannot." But there it was. The Titan had revealed itself. A black, sleek silhouette, larger than any battleship the Empire had ever seen, floated in space like a predator waiting for its prey. Its engines glowed faintly blue, a soft hum vibrating across the vacuum. Every weapon bay opened, revealing missiles, energy cannons, and strange alien-looking devices that pulsed with raw energy. Captain Lin's holographic form appeared in the center of the bridge. Calm and unwavering. "It's time," she said. "The Empire has underestimated humanity for too long." The first salvo was not a warning, it was precise, calculated destruction. Energy beams tore through the nearest cruiser, slicing it in half before the crew could react. Explosions illuminated the void, reflecting off nearby ships. Missiles followed, guided by Lin's AI calculations, finding weaknesses in the Empire vessel's shields. The Empire fleet panicked. Ships tried to change formation, to escape the advancing Titan, but every move was anticipated, every route plotted, every angle of attack blocked. The Titan moved with deadly precision, like a chess master several moves ahead of its opponent. Korik shouted orders, his voice raw with desperation. "Focus fire on that ship. Target the source. Destroy it now." But no weapon could find its mark. The Titan's stealth and energy manipulation systems made it untouchable. Beams passed harmlessly through it. Missiles exploded in empty space. And the drones Lin had deployed moved silently, disabling ships one by one. From the observation deck of the Titan, Lin watched the chaos unfold. She calculated trajectories, shield strengths, and crew movements. Each action taken by the Empire was used against them. The humans had designed this warship not just for firepower, but for strategy. It was a weapon of thought as much as a weapon of destruction. One of the Empire's flagships attempted a desperate counterattack. It fired a concentrated energy pulse, a massive beam intended to obliterate the Titan in a single strike. Lin anticipated it before the beam even left the enemy ship. She diverted energy to the Titan's shields, absorbing the attack harmlessly, then redirected a portion of the beam back toward the Empire fleet. The effect was devastating. Ships that had been safe, believing themselves at a distance, were hit by the reflected energy, tearing through hulls and detonating fuel cells. The fleet screamed in alarm. Chaos spread faster than the Empire could respond. In the midst of the battle, Lin activated a new system, one the Empire had never seen before. Miniature drones swarmed out from the Titan like a living storm. They moved with precision, targeting engines, weapons systems, and communications arrays on multiple ships simultaneously. Entire squadrons went dark within seconds, drifting helplessly in space. The Empire's officers argued, shouted, and blamed one another. No one had ever seen a single ship destroy so much so quickly. Their numbers, their technology, their experience all meaningless against the Titan. Korik's rage boiled. He realized the Empire had made a fatal mistake, ignoring humans, underestimating their ingenuity, and forgetting their potential. And now, that mistake was paying the highest price. Meanwhile, the Titan moved silently between the Empire ships, targeting the command vessels with surgical precision. Lin did not strike randomly. She struck smart. Each ship taken down destabilized the fleet's coordination, making the remaining vessels easier to destroy. "Focus is key," Lin said softly. "We do not destroy for anger or revenge. We destroy to protect, to survive, to remind the galaxy what humanity can achieve." The first strike had been complete. The Empire fleet was shattered, their flagship badly damaged, their formations broken. Ships drifted lifelessly in space, unable to respond. The once proud armada now faced the reality that a single human warship could defeat them. Korik's voice trembled over the comms as he ordered a retreat. "Fall back, all units fall back. We cannot fight this. We must regroup." But Lin allowed no simple escape. She did not pursue recklessly, but she prepared for the next phase. The Empire's retreat was tactical, yes, but it also revealed vulnerabilities. Titan's sensors picked up weaknesses, points in their formation that would allow her to strike with even greater efficiency. The stars were silent witnesses to the carnage. The void, once empty and peaceful, now echoed with destruction. Explosions illuminated the Titan as it drifted among the wreckage. Powerful yet calm, a ghost of the past reminding the galaxy that humans were far from weak. As Lin prepared the Titan for the next wave of action, she knew one thing: the Empire would not easily forget this day, and humanity, long underestimated, would rise stronger for it. The first strike was over. The Empire fleet had survived but only just, and the galaxy was about to learn that the Titan was not just a weapon of war, it was the herald of humanity's return. The battlefield was quiet now. The Empire fleet had scattered, some ships crippled, others barely clinging to life. Fires glimmered across the void, drifting like dying stars. The Titan hovered among the wreckage, its black hull shimmering in the faint light. For centuries it had slept, hidden away, a weapon of unimaginable power, and now it had shown its first strength. Inside the Titan, Captain Lin's holographic form floated above the control panels. Her calm blue eyes scanned every sensor, every system, every residual energy signature left by the Empire's fleeing forces. For centuries, the ship had waited for this moment. Yet, even now, there was more to reveal. Secrets the Empire could not imagine. The Empire underestimates humans, Lin said softly. But their ignorance will be their downfall. They have never seen what we are truly capable of. She walked across the bridge, her form flickering slightly as she accessed hidden compartments deep within the Titan. These compartments had remained sealed for hundreds of years, untouched by human hands. Weapons and devices the Empire had never seen before rested inside. Prototype energy cannons capable of disintegrating entire squadrons in a single strike. Drones designed for precise surgical attacks, and experimental shields that could bend space itself to protect the ship. These systems were never meant to be used lightly, Lin whispered. They were humanity's last line of defense, should the galaxy ever fall into chaos. And now it seems the time has come. Lin accessed the ship's archives, ancient digital records from Earth's long-lost space program, blueprints, mission logs, and coded strategies filled the displays. Humanity had built this warship not just for combat, but for survival against enemies far beyond anything the Empire could imagine. It was a prototype centuries ahead of its time, forgotten by most, feared by those who knew of it. As Lin studied the archives, she noticed a program hidden deep within the system. Project Epsilon. It was the Titan's ultimate weapon, a system designed to target entire fleets, not with brute force, but with precise, devastating efficiency. It could calculate the Empire's fleet formations, anticipate every move, and destroy key vessels in a single calculated strike. The project had been locked away centuries ago, deemed too dangerous. But now, it was ready. The Empire will regret underestimating us, Lin said, her voice steady and cold. Project Epsilon will remind them that humans were never weak. Suddenly, the Titan's sensors detected a movement. A small fleet of Empire ships had regrouped, preparing for a counterattack. They were desperate, damaged, but still dangerous. They thought they could strike before the Titan fully revealed its power. Lin considered her options. Patience was key. The Empire had shown its arrogance, and now they would pay for it. She activated the Titan's cloaking system, disappearing from their sensors once again. Then she deployed a swarm of small reconnaissance drones to observe the enemy fleet. The drones moved like shadows, invisible, feeding information back to Lin. She studied their movements, their formations, and the weaknesses in their systems. They are predictable, Lin murmured. Even wounded, they follow patterns. That is humanity's advantage: knowledge, strategy, and timing. The Empire fleet attempted to communicate, sending frantic messages demanding surrender or warning of retaliation. Korik's voice echoed through the Titan's sensors, filled with fury and disbelief. This is impossible. How can a single human ship have this power? Retreat is not enough. Destroy it at all costs. Lin considered his words carefully. Every human, every AI, every weapon on the Titan was a part of the plan. She did not strike yet, not because of caution, but because revealing the Titan's full power too early could allow the Empire to adapt. Timing was everything. The Empire would learn the consequences of their arrogance in the next phase. Inside the Titan, hidden chambers opened, experimental weapons extended, glowing with energy, cannons aligned, ready to fire with unparalleled accuracy. Lin activated Project Epsilon's simulation mode, running calculations for the upcoming assault. The program predicted every possible counterattack, every possible escape, and every possible weakness in the Empire fleet. This is the culmination of humanity's foresight, Lin said. The Empire cannot survive what is coming, but the AI also paused to consider the cost. Project Epsilon was powerful beyond imagination. One miscalculation could destroy entire systems, innocent worlds, or even destabilize parts of space. Lin had to balance precision with responsibility. Humanity's strength was not only in weapons but in wisdom. The Empire, unaware of the Titan's true capabilities, began their advance. Their damaged ships tried to reform a defensive line, hoping their numbers could still intimidate the lost human warship. Korik believed that survival lay in sheer force. He did not know the Titan had already predicted every move. Lin activated a new system, one that had never been used in battle. The Titan's energy field pulsed outward, invisible yet immense, creating distortions in space that disrupted the Empire ship's systems. Engines faltered, shields flickered, and communications jammed. Panic spread through the fleet once more, but this time, it was even greater. They cannot adapt fast enough, Lin said. Every attack they make will now work against them. Their arrogance is their weakness. Humanity's strength is our foresight. The Titan prepared for the decisive strike. Every weapon was ready, every drone deployed. Project Epsilon calculated the Empire's weaknesses, predicting the perfect timing to end this battle. Lin's mind, human in appearance but digital in precision, coordinated every movement. As the Empire fleet advanced, still confident in their numbers, Lin spoke quietly, almost to herself. Let them see, let them understand. Humans were never weak, and the galaxy will never forget today. The first wave of the Titan's secret arsenal was about to unleash. The Empire did not know it yet, but their end was near. The lost prototype of Earth was no longer a myth. It had awakened, and it was about to strike with the full force of humanity's ingenuity. The galaxy held its breath. The Empire fleet, once proud and confident, now trembled under the weight of the unknown. Scattered, damaged, and confused, their ships drifted through space, desperate to regroup. Admiral Korik's face was pale, his hands gripping the control rail of the Oblivion like a lifeline. The humans, thought extinct or weak, had returned with a force the galaxy could not comprehend. "This is impossible," Korik whispered, voice trembling. "One ship, one human ship has destroyed so much so fast." But the Titan did not merely exist to destroy it, existed to remind the galaxy what humanity was capable of. Inside the warship, Captain Lin's holographic form hovered calmly over the control panels. She had studied the Empire's every move, calculated every weakness, and prepared the ultimate strike. "The time has come," Lin said softly. "Project Epsilon, full activation." The Titan's black hole pulsed with energy as the prototype systems awoke fully. Hidden weapon bays opened, revealing an array of devices that seemed alive with power. Missiles, energy cannons, and strange alien-looking drones activated in perfect synchronization. Every system worked as one, controlled by Lin's unparalleled AI mind. The Empire fleet tried to attack, firing everything they had left. Energy beams flared, missiles screamed through the void, and explosions shook the darkness of space. But the Titan's shields bent the attacks harmlessly, redirecting their energy into precise counterstrikes. The fleet had become predictably its arrogance, now a fatal flaw. One by one, key Empire vessels were disabled. Engines failed, weapons jammed, and communications collapsed. Chaos spread faster than Korik could react. Even the flagship, the Oblivion, suffered repeated blows, shuddering under the precision of the Titan's fire. "Fall back," Korik roared, desperation in his voice. "Retreat, regroup." "We cannot." But there was nowhere to hide. The Titan moved like a shadow, striking with perfect timing. Drones swarmed around remaining ships, sabotaging their systems, disabling engines, and cutting off escape routes. The Empire's formations collapsed entirely, leaving only disorganized pockets of resistance. In the center of the Titan, Lin activated the final phase. Project Epsilon had calculated the Empire's core fleet positions, predicting the precise moment to strike. With a single command, waves of energy pulses erupted outward, hitting command ships first. Bridges were destroyed, shields overloaded, and crews helplessly tossed into the void. The once mighty Empire fleet was falling apart under a single human warship's calculated assault. From the Oblivion, Korik watched in disbelief. He had commanded fleets across countless star systems, faced threats no one else survived, and yet, here he was powerless. His fleet, vast and formidable, was crumbling before a ship they had long forgotten existed. They cannot be human," he muttered, staring at the Titan on his sensors. "It's impossible. This is not natural." But the truth was simple. Humans had always adapted, always learned, and always survived. The Titan was the pinnacle of that ingenuity, a prototype built for one purpose: to protect humanity and strike down any who dared underestimate them. One by one, Empire ships were obliterated. The void was filled with flashes of destruction, bright explosions lighting up the blackness like stars being born and dying simultaneously. The survivors fled in terror, but Lin anticipated every escape attempt. Missiles intercepted them, energy pulses disabled their engines, and drones attacked with surgical precision. The Empire's pride in numbers meant nothing. Finally, only a handful of ships remained. Korik's flagship was heavily damaged, his crew in chaos. He realized the inevitable. Humanity, long underestimated and nearly forgotten, had proven its strength beyond any doubt. Lin's voice echoed calmly through the Titan's bridge. The Empire believed humans were weak. They were wrong. Humanity is not just surviving, it is returning. With a final coordinated strike, the last Empire ships fell. Explosions tore through their hulls, scattering debris across the void. Silence followed, heavy and complete. The galaxy had witnessed the impossible. A single human warship had annihilated an entire Empire fleet. The Titan drifted among the wreckage, its black hull gleaming faintly in the dim light. Captain Lin surveyed the battlefield, her senses scanning for any signs of life or danger. The mission was complete. The Empire's forces were broken, their arrogance punished, and humanity's secret weapon had proven its worth. But Lin knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy had been reminded of human strength, but vigilance was still necessary. Other civilizations, other threats, would rise. Humanity could not afford to remain passive. The Titan was not only a weapon, it was a warning. A signal was sent back to Earth. The message was simple, yet powerful. The Empire had fallen, and humanity had returned stronger than ever. Across the stars, humans in distant colonies would see it, hear it, and understand that their kind was not weak, not forgotten, not defeated. In the emptiness of space, Lin's holographic form looked toward the distant stars. "The Empire has fallen," she said softly. "But the galaxy will never forget today. Humans were underestimated, yes, but never again." Admiral Korik's voice, fading in the background, carried one final message: disbelief, fear, and a realization of humanity's true power. We have lost." To a single human ship, the Titan glided silently into the void, the last lights of the destroyed fleet reflecting off its hull. It had done what centuries of humans could only dream of. It had destroyed an empire with precision, intelligence, and unyielding power. Humanity's place in the galaxy had been restored, and the message was clear. The forgotten warship had returned, and the universe would never underestimate humans again. Above the Titan, the stars stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to the triumph of ingenuity over arrogance, of humanity over tyranny. The Empire had fallen. The galaxy had been reminded, and humanity, long underestimated, had risen once more. The war was over for now, but the legend of the Titan, Earth's lost warship, would echo across the galaxy for centuries to come.